Hey guys, what's up? This is LJS here, and today I'm back with another deck profile, and this time it's on the Dark Regulus Amon deck profile. So, before we get to that profile, let's talk about Dark Regulus in general. So, in GPT-03, Dark Regulus finally got more support, and boy is the support good. So for those of you who want to play Dark Regulus, there are three things you need to keep in mind first. Number 1, 6, 10, and 15. Now what does numbers have to do with this? Well, these numbers has to do with the soul required for new Dark Regulus. 6, 10, and 15. So these are the three soul milestones you need to get with the new Dark Regulus. So now the new Dark Regulus now have skills that are based on having enough soul to activate. And the requirements are 6, 10, and 15. So keep that in mind whenever you play Dark Regulus, because these are the three milestones you need to reach to achieve different activation of different skills. So now with the new support, there's a new stride, which is Gil de Ré, or whatever, however you pronounce it in French. So before we get to the deck profile, let's just talk about this unit, because he is sort of your main unit that will help you win games. So let's talk about him first. So basically, for this deck, I run 4 Gil de Ré, 4 of them, because he's very good skill. So his skill is basically once a turn, act, okay, persona flip, okay. Now, there are 3 parts to it. First, if you have 10 souls, he gains 10k. Next, if you have 15 souls, when he attacks, your opponent cannot guard with perfect guards, or grade 1 or higher. Basically, he can't guard with grade 1 or higher cards from his hand. The third part is if you have 2 or more face-up units, he gains an extra critical. So there are 3 stages to achieve: 10 souls, 15 souls, and 2 face-up units. So with that in mind, the goal of Dark Regulus now is to build a deck that can achieve 15 souls as fast as possible. So now let's get back to the deck. So Amon, I'd say, is there are two main builds you can go for now: Amon build and the new generation stuff, the G stuff. So I think Amon has a much more consistent and faster way of gaining 15 souls, and you can actually gain 15 souls by the time you stride into your Gil de Ré, which is your second stride. So by second stride, which is turn 1, 2, 3, 4, by turn 5, you can get 15 souls. So let's get to the deck. So first of all, we run starter. We run Amon's follower, Barmaid Grace. So she is one of the very, like I said, best starter in the game. So her skill is counter +1, rest her. If you have a Vanguard with Amon, Soul Charge 2, and choose a unit with Amon in his card's name, and it gets skill off, it gains 1k for every soul, for every card in your soul. So she does 2 things: Soul Charge 2, and give a Amon unit 1k for every soul you have, which is pretty good. And if you want to reach 15 soul, you can potentially give one of your rear guards 15k from her skill alone, which is pretty good. So definitely run her. Now for grade 3s, I run 4 Amon Astaroth. So he is your Legion unit. So his skill is, first of all, if this unit is in Legion, it gains 1 crit for every 5 souls you have. So sorry, for every 10 souls you have. Sorry, my bad. So every 10 souls you have, he gains 1 crit. But of course, you don't want to soul charge too much, because if you soul charge too much, you can potentially deck out. So for those of you who don't know what soul charging is, basically you put the top card of your deck into your soul. Yeah. So typically you only, as I mentioned earlier, your goal is to get 15 soul, so he'll probably just gain 1 extra crit. And the second skill is when an opponent's rearguard is retired from one of your effects, you can, if you have another Amon card in the middle column, basically when you can soul charge 3, and you can only use it once a turn. So basically, if you're in Legion, because his mate is Amon, so his second skill is active regardless, so he can retire and soul charge 3, which is pretty good. That's 4. The soul charging 3 is sort of like a backup soul charging method, because I don't really use it much unless you really have to soul charge 3. Next is Amon. So Demon World Marcus, 3 of him, because he's the mate of Astaroth. So his skill is basically he gains 1k for every soul you have. And the second skill is counter +1, put a rearguard into the soul. If you do, your opponent choose one of his rearguard and retire it. So basically, his second skill allows you to activate Astaroth's last skill to Soul Charge 3. So, however, using this method to Soul Charge, I would suggest against it because it is a -1 to you because you must put a Rearguard into your soul, and it's sort of a last minute. I'll say it's more of a last ditch sort of a desperation act because minusing 1 is not a good thing in current format. But yeah, so I run 3, and his skill of getting 1k for every soul, it makes the Legion extremely big. So if you have 15 soul, this whole thing is now 36k, which is basically like as powerful as Stride. Next, I run 2, Amon Reverse. So his skill is basically Limit Break 4. Choose one of your Rearguards and lock it, and he gains 1k for every soul, and if you have 6 or more soul, he gains 1 crit. See, 6 is your first checkpoint. He gains a crit until end of turn. So if you have if you have Amon in your soul, he's a cross ride. So he is useful because having a cross ride 13k base defense is quite useful because basically it helps you save guard, and sometimes having the extra crit against your opponent is quite useful. So yeah, run 2 of him. Now for grade 2s, run 4 of the new Amon's follower, Hell's Nail. So she is a very good card to help you soul charge. So basically her skill is when she attacks, you can add special Counterblast 1 and soul charge 3. So basically you got Counterblast 1 card with Amon and you soul charge 3. So she's very useful, allows you to soul charge 3, which is a lot of soul. Next I run 2 of the Hell's Draw. Sorry, 4 Hell's Draw, my bad. 4. Basically when you call her, if you have a Vanguard with Amon in his name, soul charge 2. So run 4 because you want to soul charge as much as possible. So with these 2, you can soul charge 5, which is a lot. And finally, I run 2 Amon's follower, Ron Jinlin. So he's your 12k attacker for Amon. I don't run the Psychoglaive because I think Psychoglaive is not useful until mid-late game because he requires you to have 6 soul. But he is live the moment you can call him out. So he's 12k attacker, which is useful for early rush or late game push. So I run 2 of him. Next, for Perfect Guard, we run 4 Amon Perfect Guard because you want to sort of maximize the number of Amons in the deck because her skill is a special Counterblast. And, well, I think having Amon Perfect Guard is good enough. Although if you guys want, you can run the new G Perfect Guard that helps you unflip damage because this deck can be quite Counterblast heavy. But the thing is, all you need is Counterblast to get 15 soul, and that's all you need. And having Amon Perfect Guard sort of increases the chance of being able to use her skill because she's a special Counterblast. Next, I run 4 of the Grade 1, Hell's Deal. So she is the Grade 1 version of her. So when you call her, soul charge 2 if you have Amon Vanguard. Next, I run 3 Doreen the Thruster. So she's 6k base. Her skill is basically during the main phase, she gains 3k for every card that enters your soul. So yeah, so she can be quite a powerful booster. So imagine this, but okay, her skill does not work with her skill because her skill is in the battle phase. So any soul charge you do in the battle phase, she doesn't gain power because she only gains power in the main phase. So basically, if you call her out or her out, she gains 6k. So quite a good power booster. Next, I run 2 Succubus of Pure Love. So she's purely in there as a stride fodder. So basically, when you discard her, she is grade 3 for striding. Finally, I run 1 Amon's follower, Mad Eye. So he's a limit break remover. Basically, he allows you to activate Amon Reverse's skill because Amon Reverse skill is limit break 4. So I run 1 because well, you don't really use his skill much, I guess. But if you have him, well, you can use his skill. Because, as I mentioned, the main focus of this deck is to try to achieve 15 souls to use Gilderay skill and finish your opponent off. So round 1. I'm actually contemplating of switching him out for Succubus so that I can strike more often. But yeah, whatever. Next, round 4 of the new Amon Crit. So he is actually a very useful card. So his skill is basically when he is put in the soul from an effect of your cards, you can add special Counterblast 1. If you do, okay, and if you have 6 soul or more, you can pay the cost. If you do, your opponent choose one of his rearguards and retire it. So, bye-bye days of soul charging triggers for no reason. Because, one big problem of Dark Regulus is that you soul charge blindly. So a lot of times you'll be socializing a lot of triggers into your soul, and your opponent will be like, haha, you have no more triggers left in the deck. But at least now, if you soul charge a trigger, which is him, you can retire one of opponent's trigger guard. So it's useful, I guess. So so only these two cards in the deck uses a special counterblast. So do keep in mind when you can't pay counterblast cost. So cards that do not require a special counterblast, try to use counterblast that does not have Amon in its name, so that you have counterblast for them. And finally, I run 4 of the Amon crit, another 4 of the Nightmare Land guy crit, and 4 Amon heals. So yes, I run 12 crits because this deck, I want it to be as offensive or as powerful as possible. I do not run draws because number one, deck regulars they soul charge a lot, and if you run draws, you can potentially deck out and lose the game. So there are games where I played, if I had run draws in the deck, I would have lost. But because I didn't run draws, I had enough cards in my deck to sort of survive. If you check out a game I had with Claret Sword, you notice that at the end of the game, I only had 1 card in my deck, which is quite close. So Nightmare Land skill is basically put him in a soul and choose one of your units against 3k. So he's one way to sort of fill your soul in case you don't have enough units to put in your soul. I don't run draws, like I mentioned, yeah. So I don't run the Historic Shirley because I don't run draws in his deck. Now for the G units. So we've already talked about Gilded Ray, so 4, as mentioned earlier. So he's your second or later strike. So yeah. Next, I run 2 Amon's Talent, Marcosias. So he's from your Fighters collection. So his skill is basically once a turn, count +1. If you have a heart with Amon in his card name, you pay the cost. If you do, choose 2 rear guards, and they gain 3k for every 5 cards in your soul. So if you have achieved 15 souls, 2 of your rear guards will gain 9k, which is quite a good power boost. So he's useful if you want to sort of push your opponent for game. If your opponent somehow survives a lot of the onslaught of Gilded Ray, you can use him to push for power columns. So 2 of him. And finally, I run 2 Kiss Kill Lyra. So she is your first strike and early game strike because she helps you achieve soul. Her skill is basically when the attack hits, soul charge 2. If you have 6 soul or more, draw a card. So achieving 6 souls by the time you strike her is very easy because you have grade 1, grade 2 in your soul. All you need to do is soul charge 2, and when her skill activates, soul charge 2, you have 6, and you can draw a card. So yeah, so her skill is very good. So Dark Regulars now is actually quite powerful, and as you can see, if you guys watch the match against Claret Sword Dragon, you can see that this deck is actually pretty good. So yeah, so this has been my Amon deck profile. I'll be doing another deck on the the new G Dark Regulars, and do stay tuned for that. So yeah, so this has been my deck profile. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you like my content, do subscribe. And this has been LJS, and I'll see you guys next time.